This is how disasters happen. The ugly end of the industry. Fish are going on top of fish, on top of fish, on top of fish. They think that the bait is the problem. It's not. They're being caught, they're not being fed, and a fish kill happens. I feel like as an industry we're getting away with murder. I'm Ben, and this is the BP Milling YouTube channel where I make diverse fishery management content to grow your knowledge and help improve your fishery. Enjoy the video. We need to have a little talk about match fisheries because I think that the industry and our sector of fishery management is poorly represented by match fishing lakes. So they're usually where you start your fishing journey as youngsters coming into the sport. It might be as a densely populated fishery that you go to catch smaller species like the roach, the skimmers, the perch, but I feel like sometimes these venues are actually poorly representing us as an industry, and that view comes from working with lots of match fisheries on the consultancy work that I've been involved in with Andrew Ellis at AE Fisheries, particularly in the early days, being involved with lots of match fisheries and seeing really the ugly end of the industry where generally the thought is that the more fish, the better the fishing. It's the most frustrating part of our job as fishery consultants in helping them. The most frustrating part is getting over that thought that you need a lot of fish for better fishing. What other livestock business is like fisheries where you keep on buying livestock and putting them into the same facility and keep buying more livestock every year and imagine having a shed of cattle or a field of sheep and putting more and more sheep in that field every single year without taking any out. Imagine having a shed with cattle in, putting more cattle in every single year and taking nothing out. What would you expect to happen? The livestock are going to deteriorate. Is going to become overpopulated, that those sheep are going to overgraze that field. And it's exactly the same with fisheries, and I don't know why we look at it in a different light. Well, I think I do. It's probably because we can't see them. You can drive up to a field of sheep and you can notice that they're being overgrazed, under-conditioned. If they're malnourished, if they haven't got any water, if they haven't got any access to food, they're going to quickly deteriorate. And you can drive up to that field and report the owner or the farmer, and you don't get that with fisheries because you can't see the fish. So I feel like as an industry we're getting away with murder, and it's a livestock welfare issue, and it's something that I constantly try to highlight. And I know Andrew's extremely vocal because it's so frustrating for us, because we see it, because we actually harvest fish and we do population management surveys for fisheries and we see it all the time. So this is probably the most frustrating aspect, is getting people's heads around you do not need lots of fish for good fishing. You need healthy fish for good fishing. You need stress-free fish for good fishing, and you need well-nourished fish that are used to feeding, are in great condition and are stress-free. And those fish will feed far more frequently than an overpopulated stock of fish. The annoying thing is that match fisheries use that as their USP, is that they have a constant annual stocking program. They'll stock thousands of pounds weight of fish, hundreds of thousands of pounds in value of fish. They're putting fish on top of fish on top of fish. So if we look at it from a logical point of view, that a livestock facility, any livestock facility in any livestock business can only support X amount of livestock. If you look at fisheries, if you're stocking at an optimum, those fish, if it's stocked at an optimum level, if those fish are stress-free, if they're healthy, if they've got ample nutrition, they are going to grow and they are going to breed. So the population biomass is going to multiply year on year if that environment is healthy. And lots of fisheries like to think that they've got a healthy fishery and they try and protect that with lots of bait bans, this, that and the other, to protect their environment and their livestock holding facility, when actually they're stocking fish every year. A fishery manager will remember when they put fish in, it fished better, and that is because the fish that went in were healthy, they've come from a fish farm, they've been fed every day, and now they're going into a fishery environment which is overpopulated, they're being caught, they're not being fed any supplementary food. In fact, there's bait bans to stop anglers putting in too much feed because they think that the bait is the problem. It's not, it's the overpopulated environment. So they remember that they fish better when they put fish in. So they put more fish in the next year because the fishing gets crap when those fish climatise to the crap environment. So they put more fish in the next year. It happens again, but they quickly climatise to that environment again. And the fish are going on top of fish, on top of fish, on top of fish, and the biomass gets to an unsustainable level and a fish kill happens. The key element for me is having the right density to keep the water turbid enough to stop weeds from dominating, to keep a consistent algal bloom through the year, to keep a nice consistent environment for the fish that are going to thrive. And then each year, because they're thriving and growing, the biomass is pretty much doubling or tripling, in fact, in some of our ponds over the course of a year. We need to be able to forecast for that and then plan for a harvest to crop those fish back to a healthy biomass. So each year we have the optimum biomass stocked into the pond to keep colour in the water. At the end of the year, they've grown, they've reproduced, and we've got loads of smaller fish to take out and sell. And that's the constant cycle of farming, like it is in any livestock business. And that's the key, is really highlighting how our industry is not like any other livestock industry, because we seem to keep stocking fish, we seem to keep introducing livestock into our livestock facilities. That doesn't happen anywhere in any other livestock business. If you look at any other livestock business, they can see their livestock and they can see when there's a problem. We can't. Those fish are covered by a canvas that stops us from being able to see how they're doing. So we need to take population surveys. That's why we do what we do. Why Andrew has a full-time job. That's his job in consultancy and population management, is so that you can manage your livestock and see what's happening and be able to do what a livestock farmer that can see his livestock in a field, being able to see your livestock in your lake. Hopefully my passion there has shined through enough, but that is honestly what we see so much. And I just hope that if this video just triggers one or two of you to realise, oh, okay, yeah, that aligns with what we've seen in our fishery. We've had a good year followed by a bad year. You've put lots of new fish in, the new fish have got caught, then it's slowed down again, and you're having this constant up and down and inconsistency in your fishing. Too many fish, variable water quality, high stress environment, more mortality, and ultimately putting fish on top of fish on top of fish, really going far beyond the threshold of your fishery's holding capability. That's when you get high scale fish mortality.